The Indian government was galvanized into action today, summoning the Irish ambassador over the death of Indian dentist Savita, who was denied an abortion. Over in Dublin, the Indian ambassador met Irish authorities after protests were staged outside the Irish Parliament. Ireland has ordered 2 probes into the incident that took place earlier this week, and after doctors refused to abort Savita's baby despite a miscarriage. But India remains reluctant to conduct an independent probe of its own. Maha Siddiqui in Delhi and Lavina Tandon in Dublin bring you this report.
The Kenny government is under pressure in Dublin and in Delhi. Thousands of protesters thronged Dublin, sparking a global debate on the country's abortion laws. The issue echoed in Parliament even as terms of reference and membership of the inquiry team were being finalized. The team will include an outside expert in gynecology. Meanwhile, India finally spoke up for Savita. Silenced by a law that denied her the right to life, Savita's death and the global outrage against it has forced action, belatedly almost 3 weeks after her death. Finally, New Delhi, that till yesterday was playing it safe, saying it will wait for the result of the Irish probes into Savita's death, summoned the Irish ambassador. At the meeting, India expressed concern and angst over Savita's untimely death. New Delhi also hoped that a probe initiated by Ireland would be independent. The government also asked Ireland to provide timely information on the progress of the probe. The Irish ambassador assured India full cooperation, also indicating that the terms of reference for the probe are being framed and will be released shortly.
We do sincerely hope that there can be no greater matter of religious belief than the obligation to save the life of a mother. If you can't save the child, you at least save the life of a mother. But this is really for the Irish government to examine, and I do believe that in all sensitivity they will examine it and see what can be done, what should have been done.
The government there is also mindful of the opposition BJP taking up Savita's cause. The party picketed the Irish embassy in Delhi, calling her death a human rights violation.
Irrespective of the law providing for the Savita's right of life to be upheld, Savita was murdered by the medical staff of the University Hospital at Galloway. He has acknowledged a need for speedy and accurate investigation.
Basically, why impose the law on someone who is not non-Irish or someone who is non-Irish or someone who is not Catholic?
The death has also stirred Ireland. Anti- and pro-life supporters are engaged in a heated debate over a law amended in 1983, tilting the scales heavily in favor of the unborn child. Lack of clarity on a 1992 Supreme Court ruling over this law is being blamed for Savita's death.
I have said very clearly that we need to bring legal clarity to this issue. We need to ensure that in this country that we do not have a doubt which arises in a hospital, in a set of circumstances which puts a mother's life at risk.
Any religion has no business in interfering in the rights of women or anybody else, and it's time that we separated these things out. It's not an issue for religion, it's an issue actually related to women's equality.
Well, Ireland should resist this pressure to legislate for abortion. There is a very powerful and wealthy pro-abortion lobby which has been using court cases. So the people of Ireland are opposed to abortion, and they have enshrined that opposition to abortion in their constitution.
Bureau Report, headlines today.
It's now time for the center stage face-off tonight. Is Ireland using the law as fig leaf? Ireland has been sitting over amendments to this abortion law. Abortion in Ireland is banned. It's one of the very few countries in the world which hasn't moved with the times, which is still stuck in this position of banning abortion. There are very serious questions being asked about mismanagement of Savita's case and whether India is doing enough. There are inconsistencies in Ireland's defense. Should the government of India be pushing harder, and is it time to abort the law? Joining us on the center stage face-off this evening, got Father Dominic Emmanuel, spokesperson of Delhi Catholic Church Association. Thank you very much, Father, for joining us. Ranjana Kumari is the director for Center for Social Research. She's joining us on this broadcast as well. Also with us, from London is Paul Telly, General Secretary of the Society for the Protection of Unborn Children. I want to go across first to Father Dominic Emmanuel. Do you not believe, sir, from all the details that have emerged in the Savita case so far, that there is a very clear pressing need for the law to be changed and changed at the earliest?
First of all, do we know all the details as to what really happened? So far, the government is making investigations. We do not have a clear picture as to what really happened. It is possible, I am not saying that it has happened, that the doctors could have made an error of judgment. There could have been an error of judgment. Because the position, I don't know how he said this is a Catholic country. Ireland is not a Catholic country. It is a Republic of Ireland. So that's where he made first mistake. And maybe he made a mistake elsewhere as well about the issue of the child and the mother. The position of the church is very clear, that all life is important. I'm surprised that people are thinking that church is at fault. Church is not at all at fault. Church is asking for defense of life of everyone, mother as well as the child, everyone. Life is
no, but in this case it became very clear,
yes, that's what I'm coming.
Because of the condition of the child, the condition of the mother was in
that jeopardy. Is what we are saying, that possibly the doctor might have goofed up. We do not know. Let the results come out, because she died of septicemia. Septicemia could be caused by many reasons. It not necessarily because the child's heart was still beating. It is possible that what she was asking for was right, maybe. But what we are saying is that the focus should never be on abortion. The focus should be always on saving life.
No, but why not? Here is
why not?
Abortion is going for abortion. She is not Catholic. She says,
it is not a question of Catholic or not Catholic.
No, because she is begging for life. She says, please allow an abortion to take place.
Let me remind you that the fundamental Universal Declaration on Human Rights, no religion there. Universal Declaration on Human Rights says that everybody has a right to life, to be born, not to die and not to kill. And this is outright killing. I hate this word abortion. They should clearly call it murder. That they are murdering a defenseless child who has no tongue to speak, who cannot fight for itself, who cannot defend itself. You go around and kill these children who are defenseless. That is absolutely wrong. You must save life. And this is the whole contradiction I find in this debate. They are calling the church and saying as if they are wrong. Church is talking about defending life, mother's life and the child's life.
Give me a moment. I want to go across to Paul Tully. Mr. Tully, do you not believe that this case demonstrates a very important need to abort the abortion law in Ireland? You know, here's this young girl. She's pleading with the doctors to abort the fetus so that she can live. And the doctors refuse to do so.
No, as has been stated, we don't know all the medical facts. We haven't seen the medical records. It came out in your report that the story only hit the press some 3 weeks after she died. Who was sitting on that information? For abortion, politicians were working out their story. I'm afraid it doesn't look good from their point of view. I think it's very important to remember that this story is being manipulated. A few years ago, a woman of Indian extraction called Sajit Rao died in Bradford, in England, after an abortion. Was that an international scandal? No, it was hushed up.
You're saying that the report has been manipulated, but the fact is that everyone in Ireland who wishes to go in for an abortion simply travels to England. There are about 4,000 cases every year. You know, in England, abortion's been legal since 1967. So this law is made infructuous by the very fact that people just travel if they want to get an abortion. So it's high time that Ireland too gave people the choice to decide whether or not they wanted to give birth to a child.
Should we be allowed to take children to countries where they are not protected and kill them? Should we be allowed to take unborn children to countries where they are not protected and kill them? No, that is not a civilized way to behave. We should go back to the principles which have been mentioned of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and protect the human rights of all human beings. Now, in this case, when it's not clear whether the right medical treatment was given at the right time. If this mother needed medical treatment to save her life, then that is appropriate to do, but not to kill the child in the process. One wants to try and save both lives. Ireland has been very successful at doing that. Ireland has a much better record in terms of maternal health fewer women die in pregnancy and childbirth in Ireland, far fewer than in England, for example, where we have legalized abortion, widespread abortion. Ireland is a much safer place. There are some women who travel from Ireland to England for abortion, but it is a much smaller proportion compared to in terms of the numbers of babies being conceived.
Okay,
the rate.
you're saying the details are being manipulated in keeping with the political context, the manner in which the story is being interpreted in Ireland. I want to go across to Ranjana Kumari, because Father Emmanuel also made the same point, that we don't know enough details yet. We are jumping in a matter which happened in a country far away from ours, where the record when it comes to infant mortality is much better than India. In India, amongst from about 1 lakh children, 212 die. In Ireland, it's only 1. So they have a far better record, and therefore India shouldn't be diving into this debate. Ranjana Kumari.
Well, the matter is very clear. This Dr. Savita died because the doctor did not perform abortion under the obligation of the law of the land, and in case of Ireland, they have not followed the EU request. They have not followed the same Human Rights Convention, where a woman has a right over her body, woman has a right over her life. They have not really changed the law even when the request was made. In fact, I want to remind the person who was defending Ireland that in 1992, Ireland's Supreme Court itself gave the judgment that when the mother's life is in danger, try to save the life of the mother. I do not know this kind of a vague situation that has been created because of the law and the legal framework within which the doctor was functioning, that he could not perform the abortion, in spite of the fact that the doctor, woman, Savita, she's doctor herself, she kept requesting that please, let me live. I know that I will die because the child, is there, and they waited till the child's heartbeat went out, and by the time the poison spread and she died. So I think it's plain and clear case of state controlling the body of women and doctor using the same control killing this woman. I think there is absolutely no other explanation for what has happened to Dr. Savita. This is absolutely unacceptable. Women produce children. It is women's body which goes through physical, psychological, all forms of medical issues. So I think
one by one.
What are you talking? In India,
Ranjana Kumari, you made some points. Father Emmanuel wants to respond to it.
One point, Rahul. In India, we had Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act, which protects women that if the fetus is unhealthy, if there is danger to life of a woman, we do have a right to abort. Father Manuel is living in the same country. What is he talking about? There are thousands and lakhs of abortions being performed because of the reasons, many other reasons in this country. But in Ireland, because women did not have the right, they go all the way, even one woman leaving the country and going for abortion to another country. Do you think this is justice?
Okay, you made your point. Let the father respond. Ma'am, stay with me. Let the father respond.
Ranjana, I live in the same country, and I am sorry to say that I am ashamed that lakhs and lakhs children are aborted, and because of this lax view on abortion, we have this dismal proportion of child being killed. On the one hand, you come out and defend the female feticide, and on the other hand, you are propagating this idea of abortion. I mean, it is a shameless thing, and I would like to, Rahul, emphasize that please call this by its proper name. It is not abortion, it is murder. Murder of an innocent baby who cannot defend itself. I am talking, yes, it is a murder, and this is a red herring to call this a right of
one by one, father.
Right of the woman over her body. This is an absolutely red herring.
Let me make my point. No, you cannot do that, because it is the women's body, it is her body which goes through all medical, psychological, physical, biological process to produce a child. How can you prevent a woman, in order to save the child, they waited till the last heartbeat and they killed the mother. What are you talking about? whose life was gone. Both mother and the child both died because of the law, because of the legal framework within which Ireland women are put into. And I think this is absolutely unjustified.
You are shifting between a particular case of Ireland where we are talking. We do not know the details and the general law about abortion. Let us make that distinction, please. Let us make it very clear what we are talking about. Let us define what we are talking about. Let us define what we are talking about. Ranjana ji, let us define, clarify, delineate what we are talking about. We are talking about one case where doctors might have picked up and the other case of abortion as a law. And I am saying because of this lack
we are talking about Dr. Savita's murder because of the legal framework that Ireland is. We are talking
then
about.
Then you should file a case against that doctor.
No, but
you should file a case.
Ranjana Kumari, I want to go across to Paul Tully. Mr. Tully, Ranjana Kumari, I'm coming back to you. Paul Tully, do you not think that this is a clear case of medical negligence? A doctor who's not a Catholic says, abort my fetus, my health is in danger, doctors refuse to do so. Should Ireland not be taking strict action against the doctors whose actions caused the death of Savita?
May I just point out that in India, the president-elect of the Federation of Obstetric and Gynecological Services, Dr. Hema Divakar, has said that having an abortion might not have made any difference to the outcome for Savita. That's a medical opinion from India of an expert. We need to listen to those. Now, he is only expressing it conditionally because, like the rest of us, he doesn't have all the facts. We have to recognize that until the facts are all known, there's a lot of propaganda going around and a lot of hysteria which needs to be resisted.
No, but since 1992, when the Supreme Court ruled that there must be circumstances when abortion should be allowed, especially when the woman's life is in danger, Ireland and the government over there hasn't acted. Isn't it about time that this anti-abortion law be aborted, Mr. Ali?
It was a very poor judgment, and it's put the Irish Parliament in a very difficult position. But to frame legislation that makes the right to life of the child conditional is problematic in terms of both the Constitution and international human rights law. It was a misuse of the role of the court to put the judiciary, to put the legislature in that position. Ireland should continue to protect the lives of mothers and unborn children, the lives of all its citizens.
Ranjana Kumari, do you think the Indian government is doing enough? They've summoned the ambassador. Is that enough, or should we be pressing harder?
I think the situation in India, as it is,
I think we should be pressing harder because the gentleman who's talking from the other end, he should then accept that rest of the Europe is wrong, because rest of the Europe, women have the right. Except for Malta, except for Monaco, except for Ireland, other countries have the legislation in which women can go for abortion. What is he talking about? Doesn't Holland has it, France has it, Germany has it? They are all wrong? You mean to say that all those countries are doing illegal things by allowing their women to go for abortion? I think Indian government has to press harder, because already we can see signs of investigation getting botched up. Now, from the other side, now they are quoting Indian doctors. They are quoting all kinds of things. I think it's important that they should look at the abortion law, which compelled the doctor not to abort the child till the woman died and the child died. Both of them. This is plain and simple case of a wrong legal framework within the country, which does not allow women right over their body, and also under pressure of that law, doctor neglected Savita's request to abort the child till the child died in the
India
womb,
not be
and
pressing
she died
harder
herself.
Action against the doctors who were responsible for Savita's death?
That is a completely different issue. That's a completely different issue, that how we deal with a doctor is certainly, if he has made a mistake. And Rahul, I just want to ask, I want to ask you and ask Ranjana, every day thousands of doctors who do surgery, before they take the person to the surgery table, they get a signed form by their relatives that anything could happen in the process of this operation, don't they? Don't they? Why? Because anything can actually happen during a medical process, and a person may die, and thousands of them die. on our streets, police and people simply take sticks and kill people on the street. I have never seen such outrage on the people who are killed on the streets by people taking law into their own hands. And here maybe by mistake a goof. And I am reiterating, it is because of this lax view on abortion that we are having this condition of female feticide the way we have. We should be all ashamed of it.
Of course not. Of course not. It's not at all related. It's gender-based sex selection is something totally different. It is the bias of Indian society which has the male child preference. That is why gender-based sex selection. Now Rahul, let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you one thing, that this argument that Ireland government will inquire without any framework of inquiry, I think Indian government should not accept that condition. Clearly, Dr. Savita has been killed because of the framework of the law within which abortion could not be conducted. I think this is a clear case of a country having wrong laws and also a clear case of medical practitioners not saving the life of Savita using the pretext of that law. And this law has not been changed. 5 governments have gone since 1992 because Catholic population in Ireland is 84%. No government can afford to annoy the population. In spite of the fact 56% people voted to change the law. Law has not been changed. That means Irish women do not have right over their own body. What more can you say about a developed country?
Mr. Tully, the law is in some senses, completely pointless because women who want to get abortions done travel outside the country. Shouldn't Ireland ensure that their laws are conducive for women to decide whether or not they want to go in for an abortion?
No, you can't say that simply because one country allows something, then every other country should allow it. We would allow all sorts of abuses. This is the way in which international issues should not be settled by taking people abroad to abuse them. That is wrong. We cannot permit that. We have to advance higher standards of human rights. If the law was if this case was so clear, there would be no need for an inquiry. It's because of the lack of facts about this case, because the truth of it isn't known, that we have to find out more before jumping to conclusions. And it's not, one has to remember that in Ireland, the Irish health system serves the welfare of mothers extremely well. It often has the best record in the world for maternal health. And to damage that system on the basis of hysteria stirred up by unknown facts about a case which has been suspiciously reported is simply an alarmist approach.
I'm going to leave it over there. To all my guests for joining us, thank you very much. We've got a correspondent in Dublin. She's tracking this very, very closely. Lavina Tandon will continue reporting. You saw her report at the top of the show. We'll track this story over the next several hours because a young girl is dead and the doctors who were responsible for her death must be held accountable. That is very, very important. To my 3 guests for joining me on the Center Stage Face Off, thank you very much.